We meet up with Irish designer Don O'Neill, who's making quite a name for himself in the world of fashion. His designs have been worn by numerous celebrities, including Oprah Winfrey and Nicole Kidman. The Irish have long enjoyed tremendous success here in the US in the creative arts, in literature, music, film, theatre. Now Irish emigrant Don O'Neill is making his mark on the world of fashion. Born and raised in the village of Ballyhaig in County Kerry, his designs have been featured on the cover of the Oprah magazine, In Style and People magazine, written about in the New York Times and Wall Street Journal, and worn by numerous celebrities, including Oprah Winfrey, Taylor Swift and Carrie Underwood. Don's dream of becoming a fashion designer started at a young age, as he told us when we met with him recently at his studios in Midtown Manhattan.
When I was 13, I saw a documentary on Karl Lagerfeld when he was at Chloe, and it was an amazing documentary, and I vividly remember how the documentary ended with this model with a peacock dress walked down to the end of the runway and flipped the back of the dress over her head like a peacock. I'm like, oh my God, this is what I want to do when I grow up. And basically the passion started then. Went to art college when I graduated high school, dropped out after 3 months, studied to be a chef, believe it or not, for 2 years, graduated as a chef, entered a competition in the Irish Independent newspaper, won first prize, and first prize was tuition back to the Barbara Burke College of Fashion in Dublin. And hence my career in fashion started in earnest when I was 19.
After graduation, Don had the opportunity of training under some of the world's greatest designers, including Gina Frattini in London and Christiane Lacroix in Paris. In 1993, he won a Morrison visa, which allowed him to move to the US. And armed with his portfolio and recommendations from Lacroix, he was ready to take on the tough New York fashion industry.
I arrived in New York in 1993 with my letters of recommendation, assuming again that the stars were going to shine on me and I'd become a big star. Showed up at all of the designers with my French portfolio, Oscar de la Renta, Donna Karan, with my crazy ideas, which horrified and shocked every single one of them. I had topless dresses and huge bustles and hairdos that were 10 miles high, and they're like, where the hell are you coming from? Mr. Lacroix, we love him, but this is not a very practical look for the American market. So I ended up monogramming towels in Macy's. Very glamorous start in New York. Long story short, 1 year later, thanks to Mr. Lacroix, I was hired by Carmen Marc-Valvo, where I remained for 10 years, starting as a designer and becoming eventually his design director.
A turning point in Don's career came in the fall of 2009 with the launch of THEIA, a high-end collection of elegant evening wear. Using fine European brocades and silks with hand-stitched beading and embroideries, his exquisite gowns and cocktail dresses were an immediate success, receiving rave reviews.
The exciting opportunity was brought to me to create a new evening wear company, and I had total carte blanche to create whatever I wanted with total financial backing from JS Group, which was an incredible company in Montreal. I was inspired at the time by goddesses, THEIA being the Greek goddess of light, and basically making a woman feel like a goddess and then illuminating her inner radiance and just bringing out her confidence. There are many sources of influence for my work. Obviously, THEIA, people automatically think Greek, and then I'm Irish and O'Neill from Ballyhaig in Ireland, and how did the two tie together? But I grew up in such a magical place in Ireland, and I was surrounded by amazing beauty in nature, and I was a huge fan of the Book of Kells as a kid, and I drew it over and over and over again. You'll see it in the dresses, you'll see the embroideries that are inspired by the Book of Kells, you'll see Irish fishermen sweaters reinterpreted in crystal and beads. One example of sources of inspiration from my Irish heritage is one particular photograph my brother took of a sunset in Ballyhaig years ago, that I actually had that sunset translated into a painting that then became a print on silk organza, eventually becoming a beautiful silk organza gown on my runway a year ago that has become an iconic dress for me And the happy ending to that dress is ending up on the red carpet at this year's Oscars.
Since its initial launch 4 years ago, the THEIA collection has continued to expand, from its original 35 stores in the US to stores around the world. The brand now also includes day dresses and a new white collection which impressed even the harshest fashion critics at a recent showing in New York.
I think what's so amazing about his design is that he understands a woman's body. So anyone from Oprah Winfrey to Carrie Underwood loves and wears his clothes. And I think it's because, again, he just gets women. And when they wear them, they feel confident and comfortable. Don may be a big hit with the celebrities, but his core customer are real women, and it's really important for him to keep them in mind when designing. And whether they're on a red carpet or they're wearing it to their daughter's wedding, he wants to make them feel equally amazing.
I design dresses, and I always think of specific people when I'm designing them, because the more women I've met, I hear issues about arms, legs, knees. There's 1,000 issues, and every dress I design, I consciously sketch and resketch and refine the sketch. So I'm always trying to camouflage problems that a woman may have and accentuate her good points and sort of bring all that into each and every dress that I make, so that when you do put it on, you feel great in the dress. The collection is available in 350 stores approximately worldwide, from Ireland, England, France, Germany, Italy, to as far afield as Indonesia, Australia, Japan, which is incredible, even into Moscow. And then here in America, it's available at Neiman Marcus, Saks Fifth Avenue, Lord & Taylor, and fine specialty boutiques around the country.
While Don has appreciated the rave reviews from the fashion media and the massive endorsement from celebrities, the highlight of his career so far was his runway show last year, when his parents and family from County Kerry were present, sitting in the front row.
Taking my runway bow after my first runway show in New York for a fall collection in 2012. It was something I've dreamed about my entire life, having a runway show, and it finally became possible. It was a major production. It was every fantasy that I wanted on the runway. My mom and dad, brother and sister were sitting front and center. I have a lot of pinch me moments. This little boy from Ballyhaig, and then here I am in New York, and I'm getting to have a runway show, and I'm casting 20 models to come down on the runway, and I had this amazing, fantastical vision that I was able to realize with so many people working around me to make it happen. It was an extraordinary day, and it was just, all of us were so euphoric, and it was such a high, and especially for mom and dad, because they saw the little boy and how I grew up, and they were at my graduation show in Dublin 25 years ago, and then to be in New York and to see how far I'd come and what I'd done was amazing.
The very talented designer there, Don O'Neill, the creative director of the THEIA collection.